with another one. Back with another one. Yeah, let's talk about the yeah, my mic was fucking up for a bit, but let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I got to get off this news. Telegram's acting up. Yeah, my audio was kind of messing up. This it's working, but on here, this damn device. Okay, so we're going to talk about the law code. We're going to talk about the law code of the Chaldeans. I'm going to make this very quick. I'm not going to make it too long because I'm not going to try to bore y'all to death. It's a lot of reading. It's the most reading I've ever done. And let me get this up here real quick. So the last time we ended with the Chaldeans, and they had a law code I mentioned in one of the pre-recordings, right? And sometimes that's very much telling. This is how they was back then. We talked about the kingdoms, and then we're still on Samaria just a little bit. Let me get Persia one day because time got away from me, and time has really got away with me while I'm doing this recording. So I'm trying to make this as soon as possible, but enjoy it. So let's see right here. So okay, y'all hear me in the background. Okay. I'm going crazy with the mic. So my mic's acting crazy. Let me get this off here. It's too much distractions going on. Okay. So the Namun Law Code. I talked about this on I think part 3 when we talk about the laws of their culture, probably 1 or 2 or 3, but y'all can correct me in the thing. But I talked about this during the series, but I ain't gonna just dabble into it. Let's just get right into it. It says the Namun Law Code, the oldest known, written about 300 years before the Hammurabi's Law Code. Okay, I'm gonna find this real quick. We're gonna say we talked about the ziggurats and the law of Punami, Sargon. Translation, okay. And that's probably number 3 or number 2. It could be number 2. Hold on. Sinus is acting up. And I was muted. I have a mute button on the actual thing on the screen. The ziggurats, Sumerian prehistory. I'm trying to figure out the Tower of Babel. Okay. This might be number 4. Hold on. Hold on. Fuck. Let's see. I gotta check number 4. Hold on for a minute. The Gutens and all that. Yeah. Namu. Yeah, yeah. This is part number 4. When we talked about part number 4 of Sumer part 4, and then Shugi and all that, and the laws, and then the Amorites, and we talked about that. Yeah. And they had the laws intact. It's one of the two, and I think it's the first one. I'm not gonna dive into it, but it's too much information that I'm gonna get into. Okay, so when it was first of the 1901 laws of Hammurabi, the 1792 to 1750 BCE was heralded as the earliest known laws, but now the oldest collection are known. But there are laws of the town of Ishahuna, 1800 BCE, but the laws of the king Lifted Ishtian, the CA of 1930 BCE, the old Babylonian copies, 1900 to 1700 BCE, or the Ur Namu law code with 26 laws of the 57 of the cylinders. The first copy found the original had the whole text coded. It's the world's oldest law code. Further, the actual mentions of the name of Ur Namu for the first time. Prologue. After Enlil had turned over the kingship of Ur Nana, yeah, we talked about this in Arcadia. Yeah, I think it's number 3 and 4 talks about this as well. And then the son born of Nishun and for his beloved mother who was born in the acceptance of the principles of equality of the truth. They did the Nammu mighty warrior, but the King Urmu, King Sumer of Arcadia, Akkad, by the might of the Nana and the Lord of the city, but in accordance with the true word of Uti. UT or UT, or how you want to say it, UT or UT, established equality. I mean, established equity in the land, but he banished the malediction of violence and strife, and set monthly temple expenses at 90 gur of barley, 30 sheep, 30 seela of butter, but in a fashion bronze seela measure and standardized one mina weight and standardized the stone weight of the shekel of silver in relations to one mine. But the orphan was not delivered up to the rich man, but the widow was not delivered up to the mighty man. But the man of one the shekel was not delivered up to the man of mina. One mina was made equal to 60 shekels. Number one, if a man commits a murder, that man must be killed. That's number one. Number two, if a man commits a robbery, he will be killed. Number three, if a man commits kidnapping, he is to be imprisoned and pay 15 shekels of silver. Number four, if a slave marries a slave, that slave is set free. He does not leave the household. But his parentheses said he does not leave the household. But if he marries a slave, he's a free, yes, set free. But that rights entail. That's an interesting law they have. And number five, if a slave marries a native, free or person, he or she is to hand the firstborn son over to his owner. Interesting. If a man violates the right or a right of another and deflowers the virgin wife of a young man and shall kill that male. That's what it says. That's how it was back then. But number seven, if the wife of the man followed the another man he slept with, he shall slay the woman, but that male shall be set free. If a man proceeds to by force deflower the virgin of slave woman for another man, that man must pay 5 shekels of silver. And it said, if a man divorces his first wife, he shall pay her one mina of silver. If 10, number 10, if it's a former widow whom his divorce, he shall pay her half of mina silver. Damn, these are some crazy clause right here. This is in Sumer back in the day, y'all. And it says, number 11, if the man have slept with the widow without there having been any marriage or contract, he need not pay any silver. Damn, they let him get away with murder on here. 11, and then there's the 13th edition. If a man is accused of sorcery, he must undergo ordeal by water. If he is proven innocent, his accuser must pay 3 shekels. Damn. If you accuse him of sorcery, you're out of there. They wild back then. If a man is accused of wife a man of adultery, the river ordeal proved her innocence. Then the man, when he accused her, must pay 1/3 of mina silver. And number 15, if the son-in-law enters the house of his prospective of the father by his father-in-law gives his daughter to another man, the father-in-law shall return to reject the son-in-law tenfold in the amount of bridal present that they had brought. Number 17, if a slave escapes from the city limits, some returns him, the owner shall pay 2 shekels to one return him. Right? If a man knocks the eye of another man, he shall wait out half a mina silver. And number 18, I think that's number 18. Number 19, if a man has cut off another man's foot, he is to pay 10 shekels. Damn, 10 shekels. And 21, if someone serve the nose of another man whose copper knife, he must pay 2/3 of a mina silver. And number 22, if a man knocks out with a tooth of another man, he shall pay two shekels of silver. And in 24, and I think 24, 23 to 24, it says, if he does not have a slave, he is to pay 10 shekels of silver. If he does not have silver, he is to give another thing that belongs to him. That's how it was back then. If a man's slave woman, comparing herself to her mistress, speaks seeks incidentally to her mouth, shall he be scored, her mouth should be scored with 1 quart of salt. Damn, they put salt on the tongue. Yeah, that's how it was back in the day. 2029. If a man appears to a witness as shown to be a perjurer, he must pay 15 shekels of silver. And then they said if a man appears, and this is 29, like his oath, and then he must payment to extend the value of the interrogation, et cetera, et cetera. If a man is stealthily cultivates in field of another man's, he has raised and compliant. This is, however, to be rejected, and this man will lose his expenses. Damn. If a man is flooded with the man without the water and measures of the curd and the barley per ig of field. And lastly, if a man had let an able to a northerner or man for cultivate, he does not cultivate turning into the wasteland, and he shall be measured to three cur of barley per iku of field. That's some crazy laws, man. That's how it was back then. This is the laws I didn't cover in one of the parts of Sumer. They had some crazy laws back then. If you do any of that, man, it was tough back then. I told you, laws were ridiculous back then, similar to what you see in America. They have constitutions and things like that. Who's going to see things like that? So yeah, man, it's a tough road. And I'm just looking at it like this, like back then it was a lot tougher. Let me show myself on the screen and explain this because I got 12 minutes. I ain't got much time. But if you look at this law, back then was rough. So Sumer wasn't really playing around, and I'm gonna stop right here, but this is it on this topic right here, and it's called the Nammu Law Code. And we're gonna talk about the Nammu Law Code of Sumer, and then we're going to talk about this. And this is wild right here. And yeah, we're going to take this part off. I'm gonna maximize it real quick, and we're gonna explain later. So, you know, oh, excuse me. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute, but yeah, but that's basically what I'm saying. Like when you have these type of topics right here, and then I'm gonna name it probably the title. You'll see it, and it's supposed to show you that these laws were crazy back then, and they show you that where people are standing on today, and they think this is the much needed topic or whatever. And you just have these things coming out, and normally you see these things like back then was rough. If you was living back in those times, we fortunately wasn't, but the ancestors back then, those people back then, it was rough back then. It was rough how it was now. Now you got certain cultures have adopted that lifestyle years to come, and other cultures, like you see in modern America and the rest of the world, the actual right, they've been doing this for a long time. So that's standard today's situation. Most countries do practice those crazy laws like that. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised. And that's back then. Other cultures adopted the Sumer culture, and then the modern day Iraqis, they practice it. A few other cultures that is not a part of the civilized modern culture. Civilized modern culture can be deadly too. So don't let them lie to you. All of them practice it in a way, and you think it's conservative. No, it's not. That's just for the group. See, if you study utilitarianism, that's part of it. This is kind of like semi-utilitarian. This is like their own culture. Every culture is different. Those laws, but they still follow that umbrella of the Western utilitarian philosophy. When you look at the Sumer culture, you understand why it's like it is what it is. So that's just a piece that I want to put out, and that's just what I wanted to drop for you. So with that, until next time, shalom to the people of Israel, to the Gentiles. Until next time, and yes, it was it was an interesting read, and I want to touch on the stuff, and it's just something quick that I just want to drop. So with that, until next time, I'm signing off and I'm out.